Bort? Oh, come on, Bort?
Mommy, buy me a license plate!
No, come along, Bort.
Hello, and welcome to the Bort Experience, a Simpsons podcast. We are on episode 12, Krusty Gets Busted. We are on the penultimate episode of season 1. It was a fantastic episode, and just a little housekeeping. I'm up to 124 subscribers on the channel, so thank you so much. So if you please subscribe, like, and comment. I like having conversations about the episodes and about other videos that I post on the channel, so please go check those out. I also have a Demon Slayer review on Short, so if you enjoy anime, go check that out, and hopefully I'm going to bring other kind of reviews as I'm able to complete them. But let's go ahead and jump into Krusty Gets Busted. It originally aired on Fox in the United States on April 29th, 1990. The episode was written by Jay Kogan and Wallace Wolodarski and directed by Brad Bird. The chalkboard gag, they are laughing at me, not with me. And then the couch gag, Maggie pops out of the couch and lands on Marge's arm, which I believe we have seen before. The episode summary. While buying ice cream at the Quickie Mart, Homer witnesses a robbery perpetrated by a man believed to be Krusty the Clown. Host of the Krusty the Clown Show, Bart's favorite program, Krusty is sent to jail and his show is taken over by his assistant, Sideshow Bob. Bart is certain Krusty is innocent and gathers evidence to support the claim, which he takes to Krusty's best friend, Sideshow Bob. Bart realizes the robbery was actually committed by Bob, who was trying to frame Krusty. Bob is arrested, and Krusty thanks Bart for saving him. So, I think this has probably been one of my favorite episodes of the season. So some of the factors, the kind of mystery plot element of, everyone kind of likes these lawyer kind of cop type shows, but it kind of taps into that in a funny way. I like how Bart and Lisa team up to try to prove Krusty's innocence. And it's funny to me that Lisa, and this is kind of proven over the course of the show, and at least the stuff I've seen when I was, very younger, when I was a kid, I remember Lisa being like one of the smartest characters in the entire show, which I think is intentional, but it's just funny that an 8-year-old is smarter than the entire Springfield Police Department. Not only was like the plot fantastic in this episode, and we got to see like a trial, which is a lot of fun. I think just the side characters really shine in this episode as well. Not only do we get more Krusty the Clown, which I think we might have saw before, but this is like, the first really deep dive. We see Sideshow Bob, who is voiced by Kelsey Grammer, he's one of like the top side characters, guest stars of the show ever. And he, of course, pops up throughout the series run. We have Kent Brockman for the first time, kind of that Walter Cronkite type of news anchor, that typical, if you've ever, I don't know, I haven't watched the news in a long time, really. I usually get my news from like social media or not Facebook, YouTube. But do you ever find it interesting that people that are on the news have a certain voice, and he has that like perfect newscaster voice? We have Reverend Lovejoy, who once Krusty is convicted, they do is being accused. They do a book, or not a book burning, but that's what it reminds me of. They burn all his merchandise, and even the Simpsons family gets in on it. They have a Great Abu, him getting robbed. We have Chief Wiggum. We have a judge that I can't remember his name, but I know pops up again. The world felt so fleshed out for Springfield, and it was fantastic. And I love how each character got to shine and have great jokes and everything. I found, Bart working with Lisa, I think it kind of opened up the layers of those characters where, like, yes, they do fight, and, there are siblings, but I like how they team up, and Bart even admits within the episode, hey, you're smarter than me and I need your help. Patty and Selma were in this episode as well with their slideshows to the Yucatan in Mexico. But overall, it was just really fun. It was a really fun episode. It didn't really have, I guess, as much social commentary besides, hey, not everyone's guilty immediately when they, get accused of something. I feel like it can ruin lives. I know has been people that like, get accused of something, they lose their jobs, then come to find out there's evidence that comes out that they're innocent. Um, I think, and I think people just love a trial. I remember the Johnny Depp trial, how crazy that was. If you check it out, I actually drew Johnny Depp in Procreate, and you can see it right here. Um, and everyone was enraptured by that. And this episode felt very like, oh, I want to check this out. And I'm really curious at the time when people were watching this live, what their thoughts were. I feel like I'll have to go back and look, but I think the ratings, if I remember correctly, were really high on this episode in terms of not like what people gave it out of 10 or whatever, but like just the viewership ratings were really high. And I could tell it's like I said, it's like probably one of my favorite episodes of the seasons. Of the season so far. I think not only because we've had like this buildup of 12 episodes to kind of build some of these characters out, but we're actually kind of starting to open up the world of Springfield and these other characters. One things I will point out, I feel like Krusty is still finding his voice. He sounds like kind of different. I think a little bit more gruffer, or we kind of eventually get that point where Krusty like doesn't really care that much, and he's more. It's there, but I just feel like it's a little. He has the voice that's like that clown type of voice, but then I think he has a different voice when he's like not in character, and I think they're still trying to figure that out within the show. But this is the first season, of course, and there's been other characters where I'm like, that's not how they sound, or it's like they've changed the voice, and they're still figuring that out. And I'm curious to see the transition from season 1 to 2 and see how those voices evolve and kind of get to more what we are used to today, or at least because I remember, like I said, I've watched probably up until season 8 or 9, probably even 10. And then I kind of fell off after that. And then I watched the movie. So I know some of these voices find their actual voice, if that makes sense. And then, like when you hear them, even if your eyes are closed, like, oh, that's Chief Wiggum or that's Krusty. So I'm looking forward to seeing that evolution as we move on to season 2. But overall, I thought it was great. I thought even the Homer stuff, he didn't want to disappoint Bart. Krusty is his hero. And then just a lot of jokes about like consumerism and having idols. And I feel like today's world, people still adore, movie stars, but I think it's more about social influencer now, where it's like, oh, people like follow Mr. Beast, or I don't even know what the kids follow. Honestly, I'm kind of an old man now, but I know people have these TikTok people or YouTube, and oh, that's my person and I follow. Probably people watch them more than they do like famous movie stars. So it's just interesting, kind of the dynamics of how the internet and social media have changed the landscape of like before. The only access you had to someone was like through TV or movies, and now it's like, oh, I'm watching these people on my phone. I'm watching YouTube. I'm watching TikTok more. And it's just kind of interesting, like that idolization of people that I found very interesting. So, but overall, it was a fantastic episode. Like I said, probably one of my favorites of the season so far, and just overall, just rewatching the show. So next, let's move on to our next segment, Citizens of Springfield. In this segment, I list out the voice actor, who they played, and I think this time I should have a better list. It's unfortunate. Like I found this resource where it was listing the cast very clearly, but I've been trying to go to IMDb or just other sources to try to get this, because sometimes they're not accurate. So I think we should be good here, though. We have Dan Castanella as Homer Simpson and Krusty the Clown. Oh, and one thing I think is really cool, Krusty looks just like Homer. So if you compare them, it's like their nose is slightly different, but it's pretty much that same like kind of light bulb design, the hair on the side. But they almost look identical, which I always found very interesting. And then it's also voiced by the same voice actor, so I think that's kind of interesting as well. We have Julie Carpenter as Marge Simpson, Nancy Cartwright as Bart Simpson, Yardley Smith as Lisa Simpson, Hank Azaria as Chief Wiggum, Harry Shearer as Reverend Lovejoy, Kent Brockman, newscaster voices, miscellaneous crowd voices. We had Kelsey Grammer, which I had mentioned earlier, as the incredible Sideshow Bob. His performance is fantastic. He's such like an opera, very high culture person, and as a villain, he's perfect. His laugh is fantastic, and I can't wait to see him in future episodes when he's coming after Bart. We also have Pamela Hayden as Brittany, merchandiser number one, child voices, and crowd scenes. So the MVP of the episode, I would have to give it to, I think Bart is very fantastic in this episode, just not believing. And then I think the plot slash side characters, which I've already mentioned. I just think overall the story, you're like, oh man, the 23 minutes is already up, or however long the episode was. I think it was 21 or 23 minutes. It's like it just goes by so quick. You want to keep watching it, keep enjoying the story, and just like, oh, I want to hear more. I want to see more of Springfield. I want to hear more in the trial. So I just felt like this one just kept you so engaged. So I think that's the MVP of the episode. The best joke is at the very beginning. It had me laughing hysterically. So here we go. Krusty. Hi, kids. Who do you love? Kids. Krusty. Krusty, how much do you love me? Bart and Lisa watch the show at home. Bart plus Lisa and the kids. With all our hearts. Krusty, what would you do if I went off the air? Bart, Lisa, and kids. We would kill ourselves. Which is very kind of messed up, but I just feel like it's hilarious that, like, it makes me think of corporations, how, like, they target towards kids. And, like, I remember as a kid, I don't know if they do this now, but, like, cereal used to always have toys, and it would be very bottom. So, like, when a kid saw it, they're like, oh, I want that cereal. They didn't really care about the food. I just wanted the toy. And I think companies still do this. They get in trouble. I know, like, the vaping companies got in trouble for targeting towards kids because it's like, oh, cotton candy. It's all these, like, kind of, like, kid-type flavors. But I feel like corporations always do this where they're like, oh, get them as young as possible so that way they're a lifelong customer. And I just think it's kind of funny that the writers of the show are really displaying this with that joke. Our next segment, we got trivia, which is turning into one of my favorite segments. I love trivia. I love history. So I just, enjoy doing it. So here is the question. What does Homer sell so he can pay for Lisa's entry fee into a beauty pageant? We'll wait and listen. What does Homer sell so he can pay for Lisa's entry fee into a beauty pageant? Answer: his Duff blimp ticket. I'm sure that was very hard for him, being a big Duff fan. I vaguely remember the episode, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm not sure what season it came from, but I'm excited to get there. But overall, my closing thoughts, fantastic episode. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts in the bottom in the comments, and also reach out to me on social media. Also, check out my Demon Slayer review. I reviewed the first episode of The Paper. It's just so little time. I started a new job recently, so I don't have as much time, but I'm hoping to get more reviews out there with other properties. I'm watching Dress Up Darling season 2, which I know has come out. Or I think it just had its season finale a couple days ago, but I'm looking forward to potentially reviewing that. I think I'm gonna try to watch Superman soon and get a review up for that. But just please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks. Peace.